When you picture a snake plant, there's a good chance a specific image is already fixed in your head. Flat, upright, sword-shaped leaves. Almost everything about that picture is wrong for at least half of what's actually out there. Round leaves instead of flat ones. Leaves that twist instead of standing straight. Colors that look almost black. 10 shapes and colors of snake plant that genuinely don't look like the same plant family. And the one at number 1 only has a single leaf total. If snake plant is the one house plant you thought you already knew everything about, subscribe now, because you're about to find out you didn't. Whale fin. This variety grows as one single enormous paddle-shaped leaf rather than the usual cluster of upright blades. And a mature specimen can reach 2 to 3 feet tall from that one leaf alone. It's genuinely slow growing, often taking years to produce a second leaf, which is exactly why a mature whale fin commands a real price among collectors rather than being an impulse buy. Cylindrica, also called African spear. Instead of the typical flat blade, this variety grows genuinely round, spear-like leaves that stand upright like thick green rods. They're flexible enough while young to be braided together into a woven pattern, which is exactly why you'll often find this variety sold pre-braided in nurseries rather than left to grow straight. Moonshine. Where most snake plants show banding or mottled patterning, this one is almost solid silvery gray, wide and smooth, looking closer to brushed metal than a typical houseplant leaf. It stays relatively compact, and the pale color actually shows up better in medium light than it does tucked away in deep shade. If any of these are new to you, hit subscribe now. 7 more are coming. Black coral. This variety comes about as close to a true black houseplant as anything commonly available, with deep dark green leaves that read as almost black in most lighting, broken up by faint lighter banding. It grows at a fairly typical pace and tolerates the same low-light conditions snake plants are generally known for. Bantel sensation. Narrow, upright leaves striped in crisp white and green make this one of the most visually distinct varieties on this list, and also one of the slowest and rarest, since it's genuinely difficult to propagate true to its striping. Division tends to work far more reliably than leaf cuttings for keeping that pattern intact. Fernwood. Rather than growing straight up, this variety's leaves twist and curl as they grow, creating a mounding, almost windswept look completely unlike the rigid, upright shape most people expect from this plant. It stays more compact than upright varieties too, making it a good fit for a smaller pot. By the way, subscribing costs nothing and it means you won't miss the next one of these videos. Golden hahnii, also called bird's nest. This dwarf variety grows in a low, tight rosette rather than tall, upright blades, rarely reaching more than 6 inches with a soft yellow edge running along each leaf. It's a genuinely good fit for a desk or narrow shelf where a full-size upright variety simply wouldn't have room. Boncel, often confused with fernwood since both share that curling growth habit. This variety stays noticeably shorter and more compact, forming a dense little cluster of curled leaves rather than a mounding spread. It's an easy way to get that twisted look in a genuinely small footprint. Coppertone. This variety carries a genuinely unusual warm coppery tone running through the leaves, especially noticeable in bright light, setting it apart from the greens, silvers, and near blacks everywhere else on this list. It's a good pick if the rest of a plant collection already leans heavily toward green. Laurentii, and this is the variety most people picture by default. Upright green blades edged in bold yellow, which makes a great baseline for appreciating just how different everything else on this list actually is. It's also the most widely available and forgiving variety, which is exactly why it became the default in the first place. So that's 10 snake plant shapes and colors that prove this plant is a lot more varied than the one image most people carry around in their head. Tell me in the comments which one you didn't know existed before today. Subscribing means you catch every one of these plant guides the moment they go up, and there's more coming, including the household items already in your kitchen that can transform the snake plant you already own. Watch that one next if today's list changed how you see this plant.